What is up? Welcome to Talking Touchdowns, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Spread Astaire, joined as always on Fridays by Tyler Hicks and Kurt. And we are here to give out more winners. Kurt, you got a little bit of pressure on you. Followed up the plus 700 with the plus 800. Ready to bring the fire today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to go. It's going to be tough. I hope we can even find something that I'm comfortable with at those odds. So we'll see. But I got to go. Third time's a charm. Let's keep it going.
All right. Well, unlike Denver Broncos fans in the stadium last night, Kurt, I have faith in you. I'm not getting up and leaving as we go into overtime. Tyler, I already know you're doing great. So let's start the Russ slander. Let's start the Hackett slander, because no NFL show today would be complete without us talking about that offensive debacle that we saw last night. Me personally, I don't mind watching a defensive battle. But when you watch a defensive battle and it's just the stupidity of the play calling, especially on one side of the ball, we've got to talk about it. I'm sure you've heard plenty of the slander already, but we've got to get our own takes in there. What were your thoughts on the disaster in Denver?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they got to fix. It just seems like nothing really gelled. That rumor that Hackett was just hired as Aaron Rodgers bait looks more and more true every week as his team plays. Russ looks like that hand injury might have been his last year when he blew out his thumb on his throwing hand. And he had to get the surgery. Because ever since then, all those throws where he would drop it right into the receiver, where you would almost like lob it up in the air and it falls straight down into the receiver's arms. I think they did an article on Sports Science about that at one point. He had that same throw to Judy last night for a touchdown. Completely missed him. So that arm's gone. That team's beat the hell. They need to get healthy before anything. But I just don't see him getting it right this year, Spread.
I'll tell you what. So a couple things about what you said. As much as I'm talking crap about that game, I did go on the subreddits. It was kind of enjoyable just for all the drama, right? I mean, can't top NBA drama, but we'll get into that next week, Tyler. But the Seahawks Reddit forum seemed to think that it was from a Week 7 game against the Arizona Cardinals where Russ got concussed, and his numbers have never been the same. So could also be the combination of both. Kurt, X's and O's better than we do. I read some articles. It was either on Athletic or a different scouting site that I read on, basically saying that Hackett's running the same exact offense and that you can run that offense with Aaron Rodgers behind the pocket. But when your quarterback's only 5'10", having him just do 5-step drops and throw darts from the pocket isn't exactly the best idea. What were your thoughts on Denver, and what did you see as that offense looked about as inefficient as could be?
It's so bad, and it's all coaching. I mean, Russ has to be better too, but all of his good throws at Seattle, he was not in the pocket. None of the throws that we remember him making, for a Russ throw, was not in the pocket. Now his reads are bad too, but that's just not who he is. He's not really that comfortable in the pocket. I mean, he's been a lot better in the past, but it's really bad. I think the Nathaniel Hackett thing is spot on. Not only about having a taller quarterback with Rodgers, having someone Rodgers calls his own shit. I mean, we know it. We've known it for a while. He does his own thing out there, much like Tom Brady. These guys call the plays they want, and Russ isn't doing that. So Nathaniel Hackett's looking like a joker, and it's sad because this receiving core is one of the best in the league. This O-line has got a lot better than what they used to be, and it's just getting nothing from it. It's tough scene.
Tyler, when we did the preview shows, right, I kind of was saying, I'm a Raiders fan. We're in Northern California. It's mainly Raiders fans or Niners fans. And I was, saying, boy, I wish I was the Niners because they got Arizona in their division, right, with the GM that we don't really like, a head coach that we definitely don't like, and a quarterback that we think is overrated. Now I'm talking to my Raiders fans friends and saying, hey, maybe we're the lucky ones to have Denver in our division, because as bad as that Kyler contract looks, I mean, this Russ contract could be really bad. What do you think, man? Does he turn it around, or is this going to be one of the worst contracts in sports history?
I mean, I think only time will tell with that. If Week 12 rolled around and this looked like a Brady Arians stack the last couple of years, they just gel finally, the offense kicks in, so they get some guys back healthy, it wouldn't surprise me. But I can't say yes or no to that right now. I just think it's going to have to take time and tell with that one.
The proverbial $100. Yes, he turns it around. No, he doesn't. Okay. What do you think, Kurt? Is Russ going to turn this around, or is he washed? And is this going to be the worst contract ever signed?
I think it kind of like what we just mentioned. I think it would have to be a complete revamp of the offense, like more play action, more getting him out on the run. And I don't know. I think it'll be better than this, but I don't think they're going to be a above average offense. I think they're going to be basically right at the Mendoza line.
It won't be this year's spread, I'll tell you that much. That left tackle they lost, Garrett Bowles, done for the season now.
I must have been.
And Ronald Darby tore his ACL last night, so they lost the second corner.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. One man was pretty happy watching that last night, and his name was Pete Carroll, because hasn't he been vindicated with number one, the way he used Russ, and then number two, the way that he moved on? Unbelievable. I mean, the guy's almost hurting his Hall of Fame chances here. I mean, this is going to be so bad, and if they can't turn it around, we'll see. We don't want to overreact, but I'll tell you what. This is as bad as I've seen things look, and I'm an older guy. I don't like hyperbole, but I was saying on a different show back in the day, they didn't move coaches this fast. We didn't flip 10 of our 30 coaches every offseason. I mean, this is a really bad coaching performance that's unheard of in my memory. So, okay, last question. Does Hackett make it through the full 17-game schedule? What do you think, Tyler?
Yes.
-110 on both.
Yeah, he'll make it through the schedule.
I might be tempted to get rid of him. Absolutely.
You just talked about flipping the coaches and how they didn't used to do it back in the day. Now you want to kick this dude out by like week 5
and get someone who knows what they're doing.
The thing is, they can do the offensive coordinator thing. They could say, "Oh, let's bring another." I mean, even though that's why he's there. I mean, he's offensive coordinator, but like they could be like, "Well, we're going to bring this new offensive coordinator, so that'll buy him 1 year, and then midway through next, if it's this bad, he's gone."
He's not even making it past the offseason.
I think you can throw it on the offensive coordinator. You can do that. You can buy some time.
You could also pull the injury excuse. There's a lot of guys hurt on this team.
I'm telling you, there's a lot.
I'll bet -500 they don't bring him back after 17 games.
What odds would you give me? I never do these bets, but what odds would I get? I actually might
like plus 400 on the run back. I'll give you 4-1.
Give me like $20 on that.
All right, I'll Venmo you $80 if Hackett is the
That's
coach.
such a good bet.
Yeah,
that's the best $20 I've ever lost if I lose it.
I mean, this guy's so bad. Unbelievable. I mean, he might not even make it through this season. I'll tell you what, if Holden was on the show right now, he would tell you in Denver, they're already calling for him to be gone.
That's true. Oh, yeah. I mean,
they wanted him gone when overtime started last night, and they were all funneling out of the stadium.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, and this is loyal fan base, too. This isn't the LA Dodgers, right, where everyone's there just to hang out for a couple hours and get a drink. I mean, unbelievable. Let's jump into this weekend's game. The New York Giants are now +7.5 in Tottenham Hotspur New Stadium. Kurt, a stadium you are familiar with, as I know you crush like every single sport, right? I mean, you do some Premier League, right? Some EPL.
I do.
On the rundowns, right?
Yeah, I'm a Villa fan, but I'm familiar with the stadium. I hate Harry Kane, so fuck Harry Kane. But yeah, I'm familiar with the stadium. I really enjoyed last week's. It wasn't the best game, but it was just nice to wake up to football. I'm not opposed to it. I would much rather have these London games than like the Thursday games. I'll say it. It would be boring on Thursdays, but I don't know. I love waking up. I'm early. I get up like 5, so by 9:30 I'm ready to go. Anyways,
yeah, I've said I wake up around 6:30. It was like right when I was getting up, but I like watching it with my coffee as well. I've said the Thursday games are fine, just add a bye, and you know what? It would give us more weeks to bet. We would just only be doing a 12-game rundown. But I'll be honest, some of these games get lost in the shuffle. I think there should be 3 bye weeks. Like, let's stretch this thing out. And I don't think the players would be opposed to it. And I think as fans, we'd get a better quality of football because these games played on 10 days rest, the preparation. And that's maybe another thing as we're overreacting to how bad the Broncos looked last night. They had 3 days to prepare. Now, to be fair, the Colts only had 2, but their offense, to me, actually looked worse. I thought the Broncos moved the ball better than the Colts. And that's another reason why I was tilted that I lost that Broncos -3 bet. But at the end of the day, I had to look inward and say, why did I bet on this quarterback and this coach? But the numbers +7.5, the total's 41. Kurt, who do you like in that game of the Packers and the Giants?
Have we had the Jones thing? They say he looks good, so I think he's in.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Giants the points. Okay. I've been not really taking any of these spreads with the pack. Like last week, I said don't do 9.5 against a Belichick led team. I don't care where they're playing. And like after the first quarter, I wanted to G7. I was like, imagine one of the Packers are doing plus 9.5 or minus 9.5. Couldn't be me. This one feels a little bit tougher than that one, but give me the Giants and the points.
Yeah, they're the home field, and who do we got in there? Wink Martindale. He's good, but he's not a Belichick level, but he's pretty good. He's going to bring the heat against Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers typically does good against the blitz. Tyler, do you think he'll be able to eat it apart? Who do you like?
Oh, yeah. Give me Green Bay here. Give me a minus the 7.5. Tease them down to 1.5. This team's going to win this game. We talked about it last week, spread. They had no real reason to beat up on New England. They went in. They did their job. They got the job done. They won the game. Well, New England was able to run the ball. He might expose some things for this Giants team. Well, the Giants can't throw the ball. Like, New England was limited with throwing the ball, but they were able to still move it down the field. Daniel Jones' best receiver on Sunday is going to be Richie James. That's not going to go well against Jari Alexander in this secondary. You stack the box against Barkley, you stuff him, that pretty much stops the Giants' offense. This is also a 3-1 NFC team spread. You got to think Rodgers wants to put this. We all know the Giants might be a little bit of a fraud with that 3-1 record.
A little bit?
Yeah, but you look at the standings, they're up towards the top. Rodgers probably wants to push them back down. I think he comes in, smashes his team, gets out of here. I think Romeo Dubes has his big emerging game here too. Like, I think it's like 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. There ain't a corner on that side of the field that can cover him. And Rodgers started to get that connection going last week, and then he dropped that touchdown late.
But he still threw 2 passes to him in overtime. So it wasn't like he completely ignored him like he did to Christian Watson.
Well, I'm thinking he might be even getting the Devontae Adams treatment right here. Like, just pelt them with the ball.
Yeah, I think that's probably eventually where they're going to go. And I think by the end of the year, they're gonna understand why they moved on from Adams. I think they are going to be developing these guys. I mean, if you think about it, after they get some experience, Lazard, Watson, and Dobbs, whatever, not really that bad a trio, right? If you have Rodgers throwing it to you, right? I mean,
yeah,
maybe if you have like Derek Carr, Davis Mills, that's not going to get it done. With Aaron Rodgers, that should get it done. Couple numbers, Tyler, referring to what you're talking about. Take out the Jacksonville Jaguar games. Favorites are 15-7 in London. But going against what you're talking about, Packers right now are 31st against the run. Very good against the pass, but they have a problem stopping the run. So you guys are on opposite sides there.
If Barkley can house 160 yards in a matchup where there is no other offensive option for that team, like all Green Bay has to do is put 8 guys in the box and man cover everybody, and you should be able to win this game pretty easily. If Barkley gets still run all over you, you have big problems going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're going to need to be able to stop the run, especially with the style of football that they will be playing in Lambeau if they end up getting that home field game. So could be kind of instructive, but sometimes we do have to throw them out. The interesting part. Another one, did you see the guy that was talking about he was pissed because they don't go over early anymore and they don't get to do anything? You know, he's like, we fly all this way to London and we go to the hotel, we play the game, and we fly home. I thought that was interesting. That was a Packers player.
Well, I mean, the Saints got over there on Tuesday last week, and we see how that worked out for them.
I mean, if the kick lands differently, does it matter? I mean, I don't know if that was the reason that they lost. But okay, that's what we got there. Boy, this line's moved since I did a show earlier this morning. The Seattle Seahawks are now only plus 4.5, Tyler. They were plus 5.5 2 minutes ago. I really like the Seahawks at plus 5.5. I still like them at plus 4.5. My worry here is that JJ is always talking about buy low, sell high. Are we buying high on this Seattle team after coming off a great win against the Detroit Lions? But let's be honest, moving the ball against the Detroit Lions is not like moving the ball against any other NFL team. They're probably the worst defense in the league, averaging 35 points per game given up. What do you think, man? I like Seattle, but I'm worried I'm walking into a trap here with a team that might be overvalued coming off that high-profile win that Hoop was just loving every second of. What do you think?
Yeah, I would rather have Seattle with the points if Winston was under center. It's looking like it's going to be Andy Dalton, so the turnovers won't be as much for the Saints. Would you say? Would you say, Kurt?
Sorry. I thought I was lagging out.
Oh, but yeah, I wouldn't. If Winston was in, I'd be on the Seahawks here for the most part. I'm going to stay away. Lattimore covers these big receivers pretty well, like Mike Evans, the big physical guys. So he should be able to contain DK for the most part. So this could be a lock-it game. I don't mind looking at his props. And then the Saints defense is just so much better than what they played last week spread. that this offense isn't going to put up 48 points. They might not even break 24. So, but on the other side, the Saints can't score either. Kamara is non-existent. These receivers outside of Olave look like shit. So this might be a
Michael
battle.
Thomas is out.
Yeah, and well, I don't think he's that good anyway. And you look at
Quaddy in the chat.
Yeah, he calls him Slant Boy. But then, yeah, so like this rubs me as like a 24-20 game. So I'm just going to take the points with Seattle. But for the most part, I'm staying away from this game.
All right, yeah, I like Seattle 5.5. I'm surprised it moved a point. Is that off the Michael Thomas news? I don't get that. Maybe is he worth a point? I'm not sure. What do you think, Kurt?
Yeah, this is +5 is always murky. So I think this is everyone overreacting to Seattle last week. This Saints defense at home is pretty nasty, and I think Seattle's going to get hit in the mouth because this ain't the Lions defense, and this ain't Detroit. This is a tough environment. This defense is a lot better than what they just saw. I think they're going to have a come to Jesus moment, and the Saints are going to feast on them. So give me the Saints. I don't care who's quarterbacking. I don't care if it's Tyreek and Andy Dalton flipping in and out. And also another thing you can do is we did it last week. You got your money back because he didn't play. But Alvin Kamara is plus money for over 3.5 receptions. Put Dalton behind center. And
I'm hearing he's not going to play.
God dang it. We'll bet it anyway just in case because even if he's like 60%, I think he easily gets that prop. I mean, you'll get the money back if he doesn't play. But it's plus money. Yeah, I hit it just in case. And then even if he's 50%, plays 50% snaps, I think he can hit that in the first quarter.
All right. Well, from what I'm hearing, he could be out, and he could be out a while. The Houston Texans are +7 in Jacksonville, taking on the Jaguars. Jaguars, of course, coming off that disappointing loss in Philadelphia where they jumped out to a 14-point lead, gave up 20 points in the second quarter, and the Eagles never looked back as Trevor Lawrence fumbled his way through the rest of the game, set a record for most turnovers by a single person in an NFL game. But now he's back at home. It should not be raining. And, boy, this looks like a good chance to bounce back. I'm high on the Jaguars. I like the Jaguars. Our playbook likes the Jaguars, Tyler. But the Houston Texans have beat the Jaguars the way the Jaguars beat the Colts. And they've won a bunch of games in a row against the Jaguars too. And we've seen these things continue to come home to roost, right? The Jaguars beat the Colts. The Raiders beat the Broncos again. They always beat the Broncos. Now are the Texans just going to beat the Jaguars again, even though it makes absolutely no sense? I wouldn't be surprised, even though our numbers when we did the playbook on Wednesday said to take the Jaguars. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm still on the Jaguars here. I'm just going to tease them down to 1. There's a lot of games like this we were going to talk about. I'd rather just knock them down to 1. All they got to do is win the game instead of winning by a touchdown. Jacksonville's in that perfect spot to bounce back after playing a Philly team that's just a powerhouse this year. And it was in the rain too, so how much of that game are you just taking and balling up and throwing away? From the Lawrence side of it with all the fumbles he had. Now you play a defense that's last against running backs. James Robinson and Etienne should have their way. Christian Kirk should get back into his fold of just getting pelted with the ball from Lawrence. And he's just not going to have the pressure he had on him from last week against Philly. So give me the Jags here to bounce back.
Kurt, what do you think? Jacksonville finally going to break the streak? I thought the Broncos were going to break the streak against the Raiders last week. That didn't come to fruition. And obviously the Colts still struggling in Jacksonville. What are your thoughts?
I'm going Jags here. I don't mind doing -6.5, just tease it down to half point. I think they're going to run all over him, and I think whenever Trevor needs to make a play, he'll make it. This is a great bounce back spot. It's even better that they're at home. I love what Tyler said about Robinson or Etienne. I'm not going to say it right ever. Etienne. Travis. I like Travis and Robinson. I mean, analytics was showing that like Etienne. Yeah. It said Etienne's been playing better, so I don't mind. You save like 1,200, but this also feels like a game where Jerome might break one. So I'm going to have a lot of one or the other in this game.
I like Robinson personally. I think he's worth the spend up, and I think the fact that he's a veteran, he's getting the bulk of the carries. Not to mention, they probably know they're probably almost done with him, so they're going to run him into the ground.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
And he's the veteran. They can trust him not to fumble. We saw how important that is. Been with Melvin Gordon, and then they use Etienne as the change of pace back, and of course, ability to catch passes out of the backfield. They got a pretty good thing going there. But if I'm looking at DraftKings, I'm going to pay the extra $1,000 and go ahead and grab James Robinson. Tyler, any props for this game? Any thoughts on the total of 43.5?
I'd probably lean over there, but not much. The props I was looking at were James Robinson over 62.5 rushing yards, and then you could do his touchdown and win. That was the two I was looking at the most in this game.
I like both that too. Do you have any 8-1s for this one, Kurt?
Not for this one because I don't know what running back's going to score. It feels like the game where like Travis Still's like the one goal line carry, so I'm a little bit cautious there. That's probably the safest bet. What Tyler just said, but
if the Jaguars cover, I wouldn't be surprised if both of them scored.
That's true. I wish maybe that's what we do.
Did you parlay them both? I mean, you get over 8-1.
You would that. Hey, we might just teased it, but I'll see what it is, and maybe that'll be the lock.
All right, let's move in. Tyler, we talked about this, man. I'm really disappointed we don't have more viewers in Pittsburgh. With my irrational love of Mike Tomlin and my support of this team, all your buddies, I should be like their favorite sports betting personality. So we definitely need to get that going.
You think he's a lot more popular than he actually is.
Who, Tomlin?
Yes.
How can
they take
he
him for
not
granted?
be?
I mean, when you have a team like they've had for the last 6 to 7 years and you win what? Nothing? You lost.
Bad team.
You lost to Chris Hogan in the AFC Championship game because you wanted to play zone defense. Like you stand there with your arms crossed every game. You don't make any decisions. Like a lot of people in Pittsburgh want him gone.
Okay, well, I guess that makes sense that we're not getting the same Pittsburgh numbers.
How about instead of wanting him gone, how about y'all go get a fucking quarterback? I'm glad he's actually playing Pickett now, but that's what y'all needed. And get an offensive line, for Christ's sake.
We need an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
We need an offensive line first.
3 things that are pretty important to offense, which is why the Pittsburgh Steelers are plus 14 in Buffalo this week. Tyler, I'm looking at that plus 14. I haven't bet it yet. I got to talk to you guys.
They ain't
Talk
scoring,
me off
they ain't
of
scoring
taking this
14
plus
point
14.
spread. How are they scoring 14 points? Explain that to me first. Because Buffalo's scoring 30.
Turnovers?
Buffalo probably scores like almost 40, honestly.
Yeah.
Pickett's just the man?
No, spread. This pass rush is going to be all over him. We just talked about the offensive line. Your little Mike Tomlin rah-rah spot, it's not going to work right here. They also beat Buffalo in week 1 last year. They want that back. They're going to run this score up real quick and just look back and be like, yeah, you can't catch us now. Time to kill your rookie quarterback.
When is CJ Watt coming back so I can bet the Steelers again?
I wouldn't even bet him when he comes back.
Oh, my God.
Because he's gonna rush back. You're going to watch him for 4 plays. He's going to look good. And then all of a sudden he's walking holding his shoulder because his pec's back out. So bet that how you want, spread, but this team sucks.
And, I haven't had the best NFL season, so I'm fine being selective and staying off this. But Kurt,
this might legit be the worst football team in the league.
No.
Is Fitzpatrick back?
Those guys might miss also. They're all questionable. Fitzpatrick.
I thought he got hurt again when he last week.
Fitzpatrick, Edmonds,
Pittsburgh
Hayward.
would beat Denver.
No, they wouldn't.
Yes, they would.
No, they
Please
wouldn't.
tell me that's on the schedule, bro. I don't want to watch
Melvin
that shit.
Gordon and Mike Boone would run all over that team.
Gordon and Boone couldn't run all over a middle school defense. Well, they could, but it'd be funny to
That's a
say
Steelers defense with how it's a middle school
That looks
defense.
good. Yeah, middle school. We'll see about a high school team. All right, what do you think? Are you laying the 14, Kurt, on a game with a total of 45.5?
I love it for DFS, first of all. I think Tony mentioned earlier in the week, but I think the Bills do roll. I think Pickett is going to make this game more fun. I think he's going to really let it loose. I like what I saw from him. He just has such more he has much more anticipation for what his receivers are going to run. Like Mitch would be under pressure, and most quarterbacks just instantly think, okay, well, this guy's going to be here and throw it. Pickett was making those plays, and Trubisky wasn't. And
I think Mitch is an athlete, and Pickett's a quarterback. Now the question is, does Pickett have the athleticism to compete at the NFL level? But he's got way better instincts.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. This offensive line is what's really going to be their downfall come Sunday because Vaughn's going to really feast. And I really hate that for Pickett's development. But if he can just know that, he has better anticipation for those quick routes where Trubisky wasn't. And also, I think he'll throw some interceptions, but I think they'll get a really good pace going in this game. I think Gabriel Davis was a full go in practice the other week. Mm-hmm. I think we might have full go Gabriel Davis finally, and I hope that leads to targets because he's kind of been phased out of the offense because he's not 100%. But I'm going to keep going back to Gabriel Davis. The fact that he put in a full practice really makes me happy. I'm not going to do the points. I'm not down with that, but I like the over.
All right, over 45.5 for Kurt. Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons, who got some bad news today. They are now catching 10 points, total of 46.5, but that's because your guy Kyle Pitts, Kurt, he's going to miss the game. He's out for week 5. Of course, this moved the line 1.5 points. I don't know if that's warranted. Probably some money moving it too. I know Tampa was a popular bet when I was like listening to podcasts and reading articles this week. People love this as a bounce back spot for Tampa Bay, and I can see why. Let's see. So Falcons are catching 10, and Gazelle's on the market. Has she hit you up yet, Kurt?
Not yet. I hope so. Gosh, she'd be the ultimate MILF. No, but so I like my Bucks. I've finally was on them last week and got punished for it. I don't know. I don't really like taking the points in here. Like we've always talked about, the Falcons are scrappy. Even without Pitts, it does take a whole dynamic out of their offense. But, we've not really been able to stop the run.
I know. They didn't really use him that much. Was he that much of a decoy?
Yeah, that's true. But the Bucs haven't been able to stop the run. I do think the defense takes that personally, and they make it a point to come out here and stop this Falcons run. So I don't know. I guess I would, if I had to bet, I would take the Bucs minus 10. But I don't know. It's trappy.
It's a lot of points for a divisional game. What do you think, Tyler?
We're going right back to what we talked about in the playbook spread. Screw the 10 points in the full game, because I could definitely see Atlanta coming back late when Tampa's got this game in a chokehold. But I can tell you they're going to put their foot on their neck in the first half. -5 in the first half. I could see them being up 21-0 after 2 quarters. And then they just run Lenny the rest of the game and walk out of it, say, like a 27-21 win. To where they don't cover the full game, but they get you that first half. They are desperate for a win. Brady's always beat up on this Atlanta team. Everyone's going to say, well, this Atlanta team scoring points. Yeah, but then this defense rolls in. You get some pressure to Mariota. Can't really run the ball. All of a sudden, they're bottled up and they can't do anything. I think they beat them here, but I'm just going to stick with the first half, -5.
All right. Our guy Otter on the over says, Kurt, Brady's popping in the optos. I'm losing money Sunday. I will not play Brady. What do you think of Brady? He's only 6K. I can imagine, right? Because you could see him having the same style game, right? Like a Josh Allen or those premier spend-ups do.
I want to play him how Hoop played Geno with the 2 receivers, but I feel like it's going to be so popular. I don't want to do it at the same time.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like Travis talked about when we did picking winners on Wednesday, you just get a 6% in that flex spot, like with that Josh Jacobs, and that's what's going to get you different. I think you're okay to do that if you like it.
I don't like Brady. I think I don't. This game doesn't have that kind of appeal. Like that was a back and forth. Like the Falcons aren't going to be able to move the fucking ball. So similar play, I guess, but not the same game environment. I'm going to fade Brady. I do kind of like taking one of his weapons. I'm just not sacking this game because I don't think Falcons will be able to move it that much. So give me Mike Evans should have a big game. He loves to beat the hell out of the Falcons, and I think Fournette could have a big game. I think he could fall in the end zone too. But I don't know. I just don't think Brady's going to be able to fully get there.
Brady at 6,000 or Trevor Lawrence at 56.
Lawrence rushing touchdown season.
Really? Okay. I was going to say Brady
for leverage reasons, and I think Lawrence I think Lawrence could definitely has a higher ceiling right now because I don't think Brady's going to come out and want to punish people. And I think that if Trevor's within 4 points, I can stack him up with Jones. I mean, if all these receivers are healthy, you're going to have a tough time picking which one. You can just easily pair him with Marvin Jones.
Okay.
Not Marvin Jones. I'm sorry. Chris Kirk. Same thing. All
right. Let us jump in the chat real quick. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Reminder of the show, Talking Touchdowns, is brought to you by runpuresports.com. If you're not a member, head on over to runpuresports.com. Check out all the great content our team has to offer. They don't even do the members never win segment anymore, Kurt, because it's just too long.
It's a whole show at this point, bro.
Yeah. So, if you're playing DFS and you're not joining, I don't know what's going on. And if you want all the information from the betting playbook, Joy Work already given me a baseball winner this morning. So life's pretty good on the bet side as well. We're up a ton of units on the year. What is it, Tyler? We're up over 60 to 80 units on the year, right? I mean, the bet sides win as well. We have the new NFL bets playbook as well as the NBA playbook will be coming out. So it's just not the picks that we're giving out. We're also giving you information to do the own handicap yourself. So thank you everybody for joining us. Like our guy, Richie Small says, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. And
those exact numbers spread. The 21-22 year to date, 114.93 units just in October. So this 1 week of October, we're up 13 units.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time to be a member of Run Pure Bets. So if you're wagering and you're anything above $20 a unit, it's definitely worth the investment. to become a member. So hopefully we'll see you over there. And I'm not always in the Discord, so if you want to talk, just at me and I'll be there. Let us move on to a game that I'm sure people don't really want to talk about, but that's what we do here on Talking Touchdowns. We get in the mud and we do these tough, blah, lame games. Travis picked us for the Picking Winner show. I couldn't believe we were even talking about it. But it's the Chicago Bears, who are now plus 7.5, playing the Minnesota Vikings, a total of 44. Books did this one right in my mind, Tyler. They put up that 7 in the hook to make it so that, guys like me don't want to bet it. But it just seems like it's the right side. I mean, does anybody want to bet the Bears right now? I mean, they have a terrible offensive line. Their quarterback doesn't know what he's doing. And even if he did, he has no receivers to throw to. What is the way that you get in to betting the Bears here? Or do we just go off what the playbook says and bet the Vikings?
I'm just taking the Vikings here spread. Nice cut and dry. Tease them down to 1.5. Watch them go beat the Bears by 3 because they probably sleepwalk their way through half this game. Mm-hmm. And then you're not sweating out the 7.5 late. That's my approach to this game. They have no corners to cover Justin Jefferson. He got back on track last week. This could be that big explosion game right here. They're also going to be able to run the ball against the Chicago team with Cook and Madison. So I just don't see how Chicago keeps up here. I'm fading this team until they show me some life, and they haven't showed me anything yet.
Kurt, Bears versus Broncos on a neutral. Who you got?
Bears are going to cover the spread.
You like the Bears against the Vikings, huh? Plus 7.5 with the total.
I like a lot of dogs this week. Is that gross?
No, dogs have been doing great this year.
Yeah, I like it. I just think they posted. I mean, I do think Tyler's right. I think Minnesota will come out strong because at first they're going to kind of be like Jefferson probably has a first half bomb. I can kind of see that happening, but I think the Bears have had a lot of tough weather games. Like Fields still can run the ball. I think they can cover late. I mean, they did get the hell beat out of them by the Packers. I think that'll make people more confident to bet the Vikings. And I love going against the public. So give me the Bears 7.5.
All right. Going on opposite sides there. We'll see who gets bragging rights for that one next week. But the less we talk about that game is fine with me. Here's another game that's not really that exciting, but I do like it from a betting perspective. Tennessee Titans laying 1.5 in Washington, taking on the Commandos. Total of 43. Tyler, I'm higher on the Titans than most. If it's not Tomlin, it's Vrabel. I like these tough guy coaches, right? Bring some intensity to the team, right? Leave that X's and O's. Leave that to the coordinators. I want guys there was like an MMA competition with coaches. It's Vrabel and Dan Campbell in the final, right? I mean, these guys are a bunch of badasses.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
I like the Titans here. What's up?
That'd be a great fight to watch.
I know. It'd be pretty good. Yeah, Campbell, he's got some size too. But Tyler, I like the Titans here, but the market does not share my love on the Titans, and I can understand why. Not a lot of going on offense here. And since Arthur Smith left, he seems to have been the key to Ryan Tannehill's success. Tannehill went back to looking incredibly average after Arthur Smith left that team. And they also took away his weapons too. Treylon Burks has not had a good season so far. Woods is all right, but he's no A.J. Brown. I still like the Titans. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm on the Titans here with you. Give me the better coach, the running back who's going to run through this defense. I don't trust Wentz on the other side. He's going to be missing one of his favorite targets, Dotson. He's out for this game. And Tennessee's secondary is their weak point. You're missing one of your better receivers now. So it's Curtis Samuel or bust because he just seems to not like Scary Terry.
What about Terry McLaurin? Do you remember him?
He just doesn't like him.
He was so good last year.
The dude was quarterback proof until Wentz got there. So I should tell you something about Wentz.
I wonder if he listens to like satanic music or something. Just weird.
Yeah. I also trust this Tennessee defensive line to cause Wentz some troubles here, which just leads to sacks, interceptions, and gives Tennessee some short field opportunities just to pound Henry into the end zone. So, yeah, give me Tennessee here to pick up the win.
All right, we both like Tennessee. Kurt, you like the Dogs. Is this another one? Or, that's a local
one.
Baby. You can even go to this game probably for like $5 because no one cares about it.
I think this is the one I'm most considering. Someone wanted to go, so I was like, we'll look into it. I don't know. I mean, it'll be gross, but they want to go, so we'll see what happens. Give me the Titans here. I think they got a little bit more creative with how they used Henry last week. I think that will definitely – we'll see more of that this week. I think he can run it down their throat. I think this might be the Henry smash game. The weather's starting to turn, getting a little bit chilly out. Henry DFA. Exactly. I like it. 8,200 for a Henry smash. They just sound so nice, especially if we can get catch a couple passes.
How is McCaffrey more than Henry? It's just weird.
He
Just
catches
a safety net in case.
catching, yeah.
Yeah, in case McCaffrey has like this 10-catch game and everyone's like, well, shoot. So, yeah, that's probably just a safety net.
Okay, how low would you have to go to play McCaffrey? In my mind, he'd have to be like 7K.
Really?
I don't think I'd still play him. I don't want anybody in that offense.
It's really bad.
And they're running like
they're running them in
scout
between the
this myself.
tackles. You're running an elusive running back through the tackles. Like, what do we
I'd
do?
pay 7K. Yeah, I'd pay 7. I'd pay like 7.5 for him.
What I'm reading is
Same
like
price. Who you playing? Najee, Christian McCaffrey. Third option, just leave the slot empty. I'm leaving the fucking slot empty.
I'll play Najee.
What about this
I'd play
from
McCaffrey.
Sterling? He says Chubb Henry stack since everyone's paying up for a receiver. What do you think of that?
No Chubb this week for me. He's too expensive. Doesn't catch passes, even though he was involved last week. No Chubb for me.
Chargers aren't good against the run, though.
Okay. You know what's funny is last year when they played the Chargers, I was way overweight on him versus the Chargers, and he went nuke against the Chargers. And this week I'll be fading.
Interesting. Let's get straight to that game then. It's a pretty good transition. Thank you, Sterling. Los Angeles Chargers are now -2. Browns have taken some money. There was a highest +3 this week. I think that market move is correct, Tyler. 47.5. We like the Browns when we did the playbook, Tyler. And the idea is we just think that Cleveland's going to be able to run on this Chargers team. Justin Herbert's not 100%, and injuries continue to plague this team. It's almost like karma does exist, and turning your back on the millions of true loyal San Diego fans to go to Los Angeles and play in an antiseptic stadium with no fans. You have less fans than UCLA. You got to be kidding me. It was just a bad idea by one of the cheapest owners in the history of professional sports. And I'm going all the way back to ancient Greece. Even back then, they didn't have guys that were cheap as Dean Spanos. I like the Browns here, although, of course, we'd love to have the 3. But if we're still picking, I'll still take the +2. I even think the money line is live here. But, of course, major quarterback deficit, even an injured Herbert, a lot better than Jacoby Brissett. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on some of the stats from that matchup last year that they played in this game, because outside of the quarterback change from Baker to Brissett and a couple little pieces on the Chargers defense, who might not even play in this game because they've been on the injury report, these teams are exactly the same spread. Last year, Cleveland put up 531 yards on this team, while the Chargers put up 493.
So that was the 48-41 game. Was it
you had
Thursday
1,000 yards in this game. No, this was a Sunday night game.
I know it was prime time.
Herbert threw for 404 touchdowns and no interceptions. Nick Chubb housed 161 yards and a touchdown, while Kareem Hunt had 60 and 2 touchdowns. And then you look at these receivers for the Chargers. Mike Williams, 8 catches, $165, 2 touchdowns. Keenan Allen, 6 for 75. Eckler, 5 for 53 and a touchdown. So, if they come anywhere close to what this matchup produced last year, this has got to be the nuts for DFS, right? They're going to score so many points, but 1,000 yards is a lot to ask for in a game, especially week 5. This game was played towards the end of the year last year when teams were pretty much at their peak. So I don't think we get as much offense. I'm going to side with the Browns here, but I am going to be on the over spread because Cleveland can't stop the pass. These receivers for the Chargers, Herbert doesn't just pick out 1 or 2 guys. He'll throw it to anyone. So anybody that gets open is going to catch this ball for the Chargers. And Cleveland's just going to run the ball down the Chargers' throat. And if they break a couple ones for touchdowns, that's just going to help our over bet.
Kurt, how do you approach this from a DFS perspective? A lot of our guys don't like to go back to the hot hand the week after. This is not necessarily the week after. It's the year after. But a lot of us do remember that game because it was in prime time. If it was not, it was a showdown. But if it was not, it would have broken the slate. What do you think about how we approach the Browns and the Chargers?
So I like how Eckler was kind of had his nut game last week. But the thing is, with Eckler, I don't know. The touchdowns aren't going to happen every week. He doesn't get the goal line carries. He had to break 220 yards. Well, one was a pass, which was 20 yards out or ish. And the run was 20-ish out, almost the same distance. But it's the touchdowns aren't going to be there every week unless it's a nut scoring game. So I'm not going to be on either of the running backs here. Actually, Keenan Allen. What's the word on him?
He just got rolled out. He's out of this one. So Mike Williams game.
Killing me. Joshua Palmer, I'm liking what I'm saying from him. Is he ruled out as well? Or
he is. His injury report just came across. He's questionable.
I thought that was a minor injury. So I like Joshua Palmer if he plays. If he doesn't, Carter, this game just feels like an under game, especially after last year when it went crazy. I do like Kareem Hunt. I'm going to keep playing him until he has the 2-touchdown game, but I'm going to be under on this game as well as most of the people in it.
Interesting. So
I also love I think the Browns cover +2. I mean, we talk about the Chargers coming like across the country all the time. It's just no. Give me the +2.
All right, we agree there on the side, and then Tyler and I want to stack it up. You're going to stay away. The team that broke the slate and cash for hoop last week was the Detroit Lions against the Seattle Seahawks. Now the Detroit Lions travel to New England to take on the Patriots. Man, they did this crap again where we have like 9 games in the morning and then 3 in the afternoon.
Hate it.
Unbelievable. Okay, not in charge of the NFL schedule. +3 for the Lions, total of 45.5. The Patriots came across the wire today, officially starting Bailey Zappi. I'm all for it, man. Mac Jones is cool, but I want to see a guy with some flash, with some potential. I like his arm. I like his mobility. I think it's going to be fun, especially if I don't bet on this game and just watch it. Tyler, I don't know. I don't know what to think of this game. I really don't know. 45.5 total. What do you think?
I'm not touching a side or total in this game spread. Just give me the running back props for New England. Damian Harris's rushing yards, his touchdown. Same thing with Stevenson. Give me his rushing yards and his touchdown. These 2 running backs are going to have their way with this defense. We just watched Rashad Penny eat this team up. Now the New England team, who runs the ball a lot better than Seattle, is going to come in with the duo-headed running backs and just go right at them. They're not going to want to put this quarterback into too many pressure situations. So, yeah, I love the running backs here. Harris is 58.5. Stevenson's 51.5. I like the over on both of those.
All right, Kurt, what's your thoughts here?
I love Bailey Zappi. I'm a homer. I hope Mac Jones is healthy. He comes back because then I'll like it even better. I think I might like I think I like this game more for DFS because it seems like the Lions every week are just going to be the nut. So I like this game better than the other one. I'm going to take the Lions +3 just because Zappi is going to probably – if it's Zappi that starts, I think he'll make mistakes, but I do think he'll air it out a lot. I think they'll be able to run all over him. So I'm going to take Lions +3. And for DFS, I'm hoping my boy Jacoby Myers is back. He was being good to me. I don't know if he's been rolled out yet. Been bad on injury. It feels like roulette behind him. So, yeah, I'll need to see the injury report on Sunday, but I do like this game for DFS. Don't know who to say because I'm literally all the wide receivers are questionable. But give me the Lions +3 and the over.
Sounds good. Let's move into this jam-packed afternoon slate. San Francisco 49ers -6.5 in Carolina taking on the Panthers. Total is only 39.5 because the Panthers have an absolutely terrible offense. It is Broncos-esque with their inability to score. The only difference is they didn't give their quarterback $250 million for 7 years. I still can't get over that. Baker Mayfield leads the charge against the San Francisco 49ers. Normally, we don't like it taking 6.5 on the road. But, I mean, Matt Rule doesn't have all these, like, glaring errors. But he's in his 3rd year, and he hasn't been able to get it done. He seems like he's on his way out as the coach as well. This is kind of like the last stand for the team. I don't see this team rallying around him so far. They're running like 8 plays. It's really a weak offense under Bob McAdoo. Everything seems wrong with this team. I can't back the Panthers right now unless I just want to be like a complete contrarian, but I can't come up with a football reason other than it's the NFL and nothing makes sense. What do you think, Tyler?
3 teams I want to fade until they show me light spread. Carolina, Chicago, Pittsburgh. The 6.5.
Not Denver?
Not right now. I mean, the defense is still decent, so they've kept games close. Where was I at? San Fran, don't want to lay the 6.5 with Jimmy G on the road. I'd probably just tease it down to half a point and watch San Fran win this game. I just don't trust Carolina. Baker's going to be under hell from Nick Bosa all game. They're not going to be able to stop him. And then the secondary is just going to be licking their lips waiting for him to throw one up so they can intercept it. So give me San Fran here. I think they beat up on them. I'm not sure who the guys are that dominate them, but I could see them having a bunch of short field possessions, little dump-off touchdowns to Debo or Kittle. So give me San Fran here.
Kurt, what are your thoughts? Niners-Panthers.
I think I'm going to lean with Tyler. I don't really know. If I had to pick, I would do the Panthers +6.5 because of your reasoning spread. It's the NFL. Anything can happen. It's in Carolina. So, but I'm not going to bet that. This is a bad game to look at. You know, I mean, no, I'm not.
If you think about it, I think the books did a great job.
Yeah, it's
because the line was 7.5. I think it's easier to just say we'll take Carolina.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the Niners offense isn't that explosive.
No. And I mean, it's on
It's
the road.
6.5. It's just, I want to take San Francisco, but there's better bets on the board. And unless you're just rolling in money, and just crushing the NFL this season, there's really no reason to force it. I think it's going to be really popular with the teasers. And I can't really argue with that. Tyler, if we were only to do 2 of these 7.5s and 6.5s, who do you like the best? If I'm just making 2 of the ones we're talking about.
So you're just making one teaser?
Packers, Jaguars, Vikings, or Niners. Give me a 2-teamer out of those options.
Probably be the Niners and the Packers, but I'd rather pair the Niners with a team we haven't talked about yet.
Excellent. Well, that's what they call a tease, guys. Look at Tyler becoming better in this industry. Kurt, anything from DFS I've left out on this game?
No, Debo 7.7. It doesn't feel like a good game environment to pay up for that spot. I'm sure it'll be low owned, so if you want to take a stab, he can always break one, but I don't know. Jeff Wilson's not that bad of a price. He's $5K running back. Help me jam up some of the
What's
receivers.
their defense's price?
3,800.
Nick Bosa's getting 3 sacks alone. If they get some interceptions, some fumbles, they even put one in the end zone. They're going to score 20.
This is a good question for you, Tyler. They're 3,800 and Buffalo Bills are 4,100. I know you hate the Steelers offense.
I would take San Fran over that because because I think even though Kenny might throw some interceptions, like Pittsburgh might go into like this shell of an offense where it's like we just don't want to turn over the ball anymore. Baker doesn't do that. Baker just goes full effort mode. He's just going to start whipping the ball around. These guys, that offensive line stinks. Nick Bosa hates Baker Mayfield. He's going to try and kill him all game. So I got to take San Fran there. And also, like ownership-wise spread, nobody's going to play the defense that just blew up on Monday night and scored 20-plus points. They're going to leave that defense alone. What says they can't do it again right here?
One thing I agree with you, Tyler, this is showdown. I might have some Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. Was he ready to go yet?
Not, it's not worth it.
It'd be PJ Walker. They said it because Darnold's not ready to go yet. If anything, PJ Walker.
I like my guy PJ Walker. But Kurt, I saw you shaking your head. Do you think the Bills are a better option, assuming that I have enough money for both teams? Why is that?
Yeah, give me Bills. Give me Bills D for $300. Von Miller over Nick Bosa all day. I even if they're down, I think they're going to let Kenny Pickett chuck it, as long as he doesn't have like a what's the guy's name? The guy that played college at Pittsburgh, but he threw like 6 picks. Peterman, yeah, he's not going to go full Peterman.
Brett knows about Peterman.
Yeah, he was on our Raiders for a while.
I'd rather not play either of these defenses, to be honest. But if I had to pick $300, you get the rookie quarterback.
What defense do you like then?
Huh?
What defense do you like?
Defense, I can't remember. Let me import, see what the one lineup I made this week.
I
got Cowboys. Yeah, Cowboys.
That was the one that I like too at 2,500.
That's going to be the most popular one, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be the most popular, so I might have to make a little pivot there. I also like the Jets.
What? Oh, I skipped that game. All right, let's double back to the Jets game because I was trying to do the cool segue into the Chargers, and I realized I skipped it. The Dolphins are -3, heading to New York, taking on the Jets, +3, +100, so this might move to 3.5 here. Total of 45. Everyone expects the Dolphins to bounce back. I like the Dolphins. My idea is Teddy Bridgewater is not really that much of a downgrade from Tua, so you're getting a couple free points here. I think anyone can throw it to how open these guys, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Maybe not me, but anyone with professional athletic ability can make those throws. I like the Dolphins. The Jets, all their wins, man, everything happens right, man. They're like, I can't believe they've won more games than the Raiders. Just absolutely embarrassing. But what are your thoughts, Tyler? I like the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Give me the Dolphins. I think they smash them. The Jets stole that game last week. Zach Wilson looked like shit through 3 quarters. And then all of a sudden in the 4th quarter, when the defense started the gas, like we said in the playbook, they were able to put together some plays, get it down the field, and score the touchdown to win the game. Miami's going to pin their ears back, chase him around, cause some pressures. He's going to throw a couple picks to the secondary. Miami's defense still has a knack for finding the end zone this year. They've done it a few times. And just like you said, Bridgewater isn't that much of a drop-off from Tua. Even though Tua's been playing great this year, when you got backups like Bridgewater or Brissett, these guys can just step in and still win you games.
I like Bridgewater better than Brissett personally.
I do too. And I also think this is a spot where Big T finally gets that Raheem Mostert blow-up game.
Oh, God,
this Jets team really can't stop the run. This dude's going to bust through 1 or 2 hole spread, and he's just going to house touchdowns. So I like that. I think they smash them. I wouldn't mind getting a couple of these guys in my DFS lineup.
Fantastic. Love to hear it. Kurt, what are your thoughts? Are you joining us on Miami? Jets can't do it again, can they? I mean, it's almost like those miracle wins have made this so it's not the -6 that we would have seen, right? If they wouldn't have pulled that comeback off against Cleveland and then Pittsburgh.
I think the Jets will kind of scare some of the Dolphins bettors because I think they're going to make this game close. I think it's going to have a lot of points. I think the Miami defense is a little bit overrated. So
interesting.
I'm not going to bet it, but I do think the Jets are going to score points. I think Wilson's another week back. He has these weapons. His boy Corey Davis is still there. He freaking loves Corey Davis, dude. But he still has some new toys too. Tyler Conklin looks good this year. They got both those running backs. I mean, this is a good offense, and they're at home. I'm not going to bet it, but I do kind of lean Dolphins. But I think it's going to be a sweat. So give me the over. I really like stacking this game up. People are going to discount Bridgewater. He's not bad. He has these weapons. The offenses are going to change. Mostert, I'm really heavy on, but I'm not opposed to like a Bridgewater Hill Waddle stack. Not opposed to it. And run it back with the Jets receiver. That's not the worst thing.
Who do you run it back with though? Do you go with Garrett Wilson or do you go with Corey Davis?
Let me see their prices. I mean, man,
probably be Davis. He's gonna be cheaper.
He loves Davis so much. It's crazy. But Wilson's just so – I mean, they have so many plays designed for Wilson, though. Wilson's 5,200. Davis is 51. Give me Wilson because I feel like people are going to be on that narrative. So give me Wilson. He takes a screen pass to the freaking house or something. But, man, I mean, you can run it even back like, with Elijah Moore, like just to get different. You can have all these stacks and just pick, okay, I'm going to do Wilson this time, then Davis, then Moore. And I don't know. I like it. It's a good game stack.
All right, I love to hear that. Sorry about going out of order. Guys, in the chat, notice when I do that. I was trying to be smooth with my transition, skipped over the game, and now I went out of chronological orders. My apologies. Let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are -5 against the Arizona Cardinals. Total of 49. Tyler, our numbers love the Eagles, and why not? They're the best team in the NFL so far. The only thing is we know that these guys can't get up for 17 games in a row. At what point do they start reading their press clippings? At what point do they get arrogant? At what point are they actually the good fade? I'll tell you what, I don't think that Arizona's that spot. I haven't bet it yet because, I mean, like, I'm not in a rush to lay 5 on the road, but I definitely wanted to talk to you guys about this game. Seems like Philadelphia is the right side, but also seemed like Kansas City laying 5 was the right side in Indy too. And, I don't want to get another taunting call on Fletcher Cox or something ridiculous. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm not letting that Chiefs game deter me from right here. I think this Philly team, like Buffalo, the power rankings say they're going to be 1. I personally think Philly's 1. They're the more healthy team. Their defense is stacked. They're going to cause Kyler Murray so much trouble. He's going to be running for his life in that backfield. He's going to throw a couple interceptions to this secondary led by Slay. James Bradbury's playing well. CJ Gardner-Johnson. They got the 2 safeties over the top. And then on offense, Brett, they can beat you either way. They can run the ball down your throat, or they could throw it to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and these guys. The offensive line is banged up a little bit. They might be missing the one, I think it's Mailata. I think it's the former rugby player. He might be out. But against the Cardinals team, how much does that really affect it? Philly, they had Jalen Hurts in an interview yesterday, and they asked him a bunch of questions. And he finished up the interview with, I didn't get any questions about the Cardinals, and proceeded to talk about how the team is. That just makes me love Philly here even more because the star quarterback isn't overlooking the team. So the wins aren't getting to his head spread, which means he's probably keeping that in the locker room, a level-headed scene too. Give me Philly here, -5. They smash them.
Kurt, we're taking the favorite on the road in NFL. It's dangerous doing that in the NFL, but I mean, Tyler's making some great points. What do you think?
Talking Philly, I just shipped EuroLeague, so sorry I had to check that.
You shipped EuroLeague.
Just shipped
that
it,
crazy. The announcers. Fantastic. Yeah. What'd you get? What was
little $1,200? No big deal. Something slight.
$1,200, and of course, did you have a core up on RunPureSports.com?
Yeah, the core. Yeah, I do a core full playbook. Or even did a Spaces today. I'm pretty sure the core went off. Let me just do a little. I'll wait till y'all are talking. But for Philly, oh crap! My thing just went to college football on accident. 1 second.
All right, that's fine. Basically, I'll jump in real quick while you pull it up. I mean, the idea here is the numbers are going to tell you to bet Philly, and this is where I think your experience as a player comes in. It's hard to get up every single week, and normally I hate motivational handicaps. I think it's almost like a lazy way to do handicaps, and sometimes I swear that like some of these guys that you hear are hiding their real system, and they're just using motivation as like a generic way to give their pick without actually giving away their system. But what do you think about Philly's motivation? Like they can't just be up for 17 games, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a tough spot. And by the way, did you see my boy Gardeck last week? First of all, the team captain, and he got a nice little sack when he came in. Shout out Dennis Gardeck.
And he's on the Cardinals, right?
Yeah, he's a captain actually. Yeah. Roll Hive, baby.
All right.
But yeah, so five's a trappy number again. Anytime I see 5, I'm like alert, alert, alert. Give me Cardinals +5. Eagles is so tough though; it makes it dirty. But I think the Dirty Birds cover. So give me them. I do think you have a great point. I think the Eagles might come out a little bit sluggish. I mean, they're all traveling all the way out there. What if we do like a first half Eagles not to cover first half, something like that?
But here's the deal, and that was going to be my final thought on this one. The Eagles have been the best first half team in the NFL through 4 games. The Cardinals have been the worst.
Perfect. I think they put up 24 points in every first half.
Is that number being included on the line? I'm not put up the line.
I'll
yet.
Switch to first half right now. But I was thinking about taking the Eagles first half just off the strength of what's happening so far.
And every single game,
every single game, it feels like Kyler's coming from behind.
So it is juiced in a little bit. If you look at the line, I mean, that is juiced in a little bit, right?
It's juiced in, yeah, a lot.
Yeah, so give me the Cardinals to cover the first half. Cardinals be down by 3. Maybe the Cardinals hit a bomb, so it helps us out a little bit. So I love that, actually.
Kurt's getting contrarian today. Great addition to the show, and love to hear that. So You're getting both sides of the story here. At the end of the day, you can make your own decisions, and we're going to be doing the victory laps here.
I can tell you one thing, Brady. He said the Dirty Birds were going to win this game and cover.
Yeah, it's the Eagles.
He technically can't be wrong with that statement.
I saw
the Eagles are more. They're called the Dirty Birds more often, though, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
You know what I was thinking? I mean, it's like these fan groups, right? I mean, like you have a 1 in 32 chance of winning the Super Bowl, or you get heck upset. Like, why don't they just start rooting for like full on animals? Like, I like the cats, right? That would give me like the Jaguars, the Panthers, the Bengals, right? I'd have like multiple teams, right? You could like the birds.
What happens when you get to like the 49ers? Like, where do they get into? Are they just in the others category?
I'll have to figure that out. I haven't fleshed out this rooting system yet, but it'll make more people happier at the end of the year for people who aren't gambling on sports, which at this point is probably like 1% of the population. I mean, how many people tuned in last night because of football, or how many people tuned in because of their showdown lineup or their bet last night? I mean, that was really a tough watch, and I watched every second of it. And I actually enjoyed it. Other than the losing and being pissed off about losing my bet, I actually enjoyed watching the game. It was like, it was like watching a train wreck. Like, I mean, if you see an accident, you're not supposed to, but you slow down. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys, who were +5.5. Now they're +5. I agree with that line move. I basically think that the offensive line of the Rams is going to have problems against this defensive line of the Cowboys. I mean, talk about, Mike McCarthy's doing better as a head coach. Well, I mean, the fact that you now have a top 5 defensive player in the league, and when you get on those top 5 pass rushers, it's like a quarterback now. It completely changes your defense, right? A good quarterback can make an average group of 10 guys look really good. It seems like a good pass rusher can make the other 10 defensive players look so good because you're consistently not allowing these quarterbacks to have time. If there's one thing we know about Stafford, he doesn't do well under pressure, and they're not going to be able to run the ball. They haven't been able to run the ball at all, whether it's the offensive line, whether it's Cam Akers and Sean McVay and their little spat, whatever went on there. This team does not have it going. It's so funny. I've flipped on these teams, Tyler. When we did the previews, I definitely would have liked the Rams here. If we were talking about this before the team, but I really did not anticipate how good Micah Parsons was going to be this year. And Trayvon Diggs has not taken a step back. He continues to be that same ball hawk. Yeah, he's going to give up plays, but in this new NFL, everybody moves 20 to 20. So those interceptions are it's worth it, right? It's worth it to go ahead and take that gamble because the interception can change the game. And these guys are moving the balls anyways. They call it holding on everything. So I like the Cowboys, Tyler. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to love the Cowboys here spread. I thought this was going to be a less popular spot, and it was going to be like everyone wants to get on the Rams to get back the win.
The line's too high.
I haven't seen a single person pick the Rams in this game yet.
But I think it's because the line is objectively wrong.
I agree to a point.
Take out the Super Bowl win last year. Let's say Tart makes that catch, right? And the Rams aren't Super Bowl champions. Don't we view this team a lot differently?
Yeah, I can agree there. I also think that still goes for the other team that was in the Super Bowl. Those lines are still put to where they think that team's still a Super Bowl team and they're not.
And we're gonna get to that one next.
Yeah, but I mean, if you had, I'm just not gonna bet this game because with the way the public's betting it and everyone's just driving into the Dallas side, I wanted to be on their money line to pick up the win.
Yeah.
But I'd hate to do it and watch Cooper Kupp just shred Trayvon Diggs all game and they win the game by like 3. So I'm just gonna stay away. If you had to pin me down, give me the +5 on Dallas. For every reason.
I mean,
you
I don't
said,
really care what other people
line.
are betting. Maybe that's a flaw in mine. Like, I don't care if everyone's lined up for me. I think that we've all seen everyone that's betting it because I've already bet
The
it.
other thing too, Spread, is
this line's wrong.
Cooper Rush is not yet to turn over the ball.
Yeah.
Yet he had 3 turnover-worthy throws last week. At some point, that's going to flip, and those are going to be 3 interceptions.
Yeah, but I think he'll throw 2 picks here. But what about I said it last week. What about the Dallas defense touchdown that's coming? I mean, they have a good returner. They have Parsons. I'll keep betting it. I don't care, okay? They're going to get a punt return touchdown, or Michael Parsons is going to strip sack someone. It's going to be an easy cradle to the house. So I do think Cooper Rush probably has like 2 picks here, but I think Dallas D scores, and it kind of evens it out right there. And I agree with Tyler. Like, I want to bet – well, I already did it. Sorry. Did it. Sorry. But I've already bet Cowboys money line, but like this feels like the only spot in all the board where it's like I really am feeling at the public. But I think there's been 2 instances this year where it feels like the public's all doing the same thing. Can't remember one of them because I have CTE.
The
One
Bills was the first game against the Rams.
Maybe
it was 5
Bills.
points. It opened.
It was the Bills week 1 and then Cincinnati last week when they played Miami.
Yes. So perfect, guys. Thank you. So yeah, that's what it feels like to me. It feels like they love it, and it makes sense. And you don't want to bet it because, well, it makes too much sense. I think this is one of those spots where maybe we go 3 for 3 on those. I already bet it, so I think I
love this number. This is the one I think they messed up on the most.
Really?
I personally don't get it. And Tyler, you talked about the stars and scrubs approach, and maybe it's not injuries, but you have one guy fall off. Ramsey, not as good. Stafford, not as good. So now, right, you don't have the depth to overcome this, right?
The one that I will defend Ramsey one little bit. In the games he's looked bad in, you look at the guys he played against, you got a guy like Diggs on the other side.
He's supposed to be the best corner in the league, though.
I mean, I understand that, but best corners usually lose a step when the guy's locking up all the elite receivers for the last 3 years.
Step is the key
loses a step, can't cover the elite guys anymore. But when they played Atlanta, he looked completely fine. When they
against a rookie?
Well, when they play these other receiver spread, if CeeDee Lamb sits because he's questionable, now he's covering Noah Brown and Michael Gallup. Those are guys he can cover. These aren't elite receivers stepping.
Maybe that's what. Maybe that's big into the line a little bit. Maybe they already know CD's looking pretty rough because that changes a lot of things.
Yeah, because now he loves throwing the ball to CeeDee Lamb. Like, where do all those go now?
He likes Noah Brown. I mean, he loves Noah Brown, but Noah Brown's not as good as CD. He can't do things after the catch. And one thing I do want to note, Tyler Higbee, his targets in games where they faced a team with a good pass rush. San Francisco, Bosa, 14 targets. Week 1, Buffalo, Von Miller, 11 targets. Okay? 4,300 on DraftKings. Why are you not playing Higbee? He's not even scored yet this year. He's going to have 2 coming up. Why are you not playing Higbee? I want you to play Higbee this week, and I want you to bet him to score.
I feel like an idea of your plus 800. I could have an idea of where we're going to get that from. This is for both of you guys. Any props for Pollard or Lamb you guys like? So we're not going to answer that on Lamb. But another part of the handicap, I just think that the Cowboys are going to be able to run the ball.
And a tummy ache.
Yeah, Pollard's also on the injury report.
A tummy ache?
Illness. So
don't tell Draymond Green that you have a tummy ache.
He might knock you the hell out.
So I think Pollard will play, but like, what about like all the week's practices? Like, you're doing all these plays, you're instilling stuff, and like Pollard's not there. Obviously, he's not gonna. I mean, he knows the offense, but
isn't the running back the easiest thing? I mean, that's like see hole run through it, right? I mean, there's no cohesion there, is there?
It could lead 10%.
It's not like a right guard in the tackle.
Yeah, but I think it could lead to like 10% more Zeke, maybe. Just because you weren't here all week, like, I don't know. It could lead to like 10% more snaps for Zeke. Nothing crazy.
What do you think, Tyler? Any of the any props that we're looking for? Now that I hear that they're both out, probably can't give you a good answer there, Rich.
Yeah, and no props on those guys right now. I need more news.
You know what you're going to need to do then if you want to get those props from Tyler is head on over to runpuresports.com, become a member, and as we get more information, Tyler will give you our updated views on those, and of course, more winners, more same game parlays, more plus 800s from Kurt. Love it. Let's move into the evening game, a team that you might think is overrated as well, Tyler. Oh, Tyler left. We'll start with you, Kurt. The Cincinnati Bengals +3 in Baltimore taking on the Ravens. I think this is a tough game. I think we can make good arguments for both sides.
This is going to be such a good game. I'm so excited to watch this. Ravens secondary's been bad. Bengals, we know what their receiving core is. This is going to be a fun game. I don't know where to cap it, but I'm excited for the showdown. That's all I can say. Let me get what Tyler thinks. I'll see if I can find a prop or something. But at Baltimore is tough, man. Baltimore had that gut wrenching loss last week. 3.5 though. I know the Bengals have been bad, but
I have 3 right now on bookmakers. So
I think 3.5 on DraftKings. I like it a lot better.
It's -127, so it is going to move to 3.5. Okay, so 3.5. It's a divisional game. It's technically take the points in a divisional game like that. But boy, I don't know. A
night game in Baltimore. Oh,
but I mean, this secondary just sucks in the fourth quarter. You don't think Burrow's going to be able to take advantage of that? Tyler, I don't know what to do with this game. Can you lead us to the light here?
Give me the birds here. Baltimore spread. They should be 4-0. They lose 2. They've trailed for 14 seconds. They should be 4-0. You need a win here. We just talked about the Rams being overpriced because of their Super Bowl. What has Cincinnati done this year, spread? I've even sat here and said they're going to get right. They're going to get right. But then you look at it, it's like, yeah, you beat the Jets. Yeah, you beat the Dolphins when you knocked out their quarterback in what was supposed to be the smash spot of the year, and you barely won that game. They haven't showed me anything, and now they're going to play a team desperate for a win. Give me Baltimore here. I think they smash them. And also, the matchups last year, spread, they were the team that got the Jamar Chase, coming out game.
Mm-hmm.
Humphrey didn't really know what he was up against. He's pressing him at the line. The kid goes for almost 200 yards. They get him again the second game. They contain him a little better. He still cracks 100, but that was also when they were rolling late in the season into that Super Bowl run. They're not doing that right here. They're going to blitz the hell out of Burrow. Lamar.
They won't, though. The new quarterback doesn't blitz. I mean, the new defensive coordinator.
They still blitz a good bit. It's not as much.
It went from over 50% to 27%.
I mean, I'd have to see. I know week 1 they were blitzing the hell out of the Jets, so it might just be all matchup dependent.
I think that's better for the Ravens, though. I think Burrow's better against the blitz.
I mean, to a point, but when your offensive line's that bad, they're going to get to him a lot more than they did last year. Yeah, but then you get Jamar
Chase on one-on-one.
What's he done this year, spread?
Bracketed because they haven't been blitzing. You can get pressure on 4 because the line's so bad.
It's going to be I think it's T. Higgins' show now, spread. They figured out Jamar Chase.
That's fine. I mean, so how do you approach that one, Kurt, from a showdown perspective? Tyler likes T. Higgins more than Jamar Chase. Do you agree with that?
Everyone's seen the stat out there about how Higgins is doing just as much, if not better, as Chase. I'm going to lean into that narrative the opposite way. I think the public's going to start thinking, okay, you know what? Why do we keep playing this premium for Chase? Why do we keep doing this? I think defense are going to start kind of playing it more evenly too. I think it's going to lead to Chase, showing that he's still the man, baby. I'm going to go full Chase. I think that for everything Tyler's saying is right. I think that we're going to start seeing coverages also be more even. We don't have to double Chase. We don't have to have the shadow on Chase. We need just as much attention on Higgins. So give me a big Chase game this week.
All right, there you have it. We got 6 minutes before the baseball show takes over. Oh wait, there's no baseball show today. I guess we don't. We can take our time with the best bets, but it's time for the best bets. Where's our guy Greg Russo, the professor? He used to love the best bet segment. Greg, if you're watching, leave a YouTube comment for us. Make sure that we know. I mean, we're doing these best bets for you, Greg. Come on, man. All right, Tyler, we'll start with you. Best bets for this weekend.
I'll go with 2. Give me Tampa Bay first half -5, and then give me Baltimore -3.5.
Wow. All right. He's taking the Sunday night game, Kurt. Primetime action. That takes some pressure off me because I think that game's really tough. What's your best bet for the weekend, Kurt?
I got to
8-1.
I got to do a parlay to get my odds up. So
that's what
let me do. We're gonna do Tyler Higbee over 45.5 yards receiving. Tyler Higbee to score. George Pickens to score. It's plus 1,600. That's my lock of the week. I think George Pickens has good chemistry with Pickett. I think they'll be in garbage time. I think he gets a garbage touchdown. Pickens, we might even give the bomb in the first half, but I'm more so playing for the off coverage in the second half that we get. Higbee, he's due for a touchdown. That's my bet. Plus 1,600. Higbee over 45.5 yards receiving. Higbee touchdown. Pickens touchdown. Also don't mind Higbee to score 2.
All right, and mine's obvious. I think the biggest mistake the books made was this Dallas Cowboys line this week. I think this line should have been 3.5 tops. We're getting some value here, 2 to 2.5 points. These guys are usually so good, and these games are usually so tough. For them to put that up really surprised me. I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of it. And if Matt Stafford proves me wrong, that's fine. But boy, I'm betting on this Dallas defense. They just keep getting it done, and I think there's going to be a lot of problems in Los Angeles at the end of this game. And hey, doesn't the NFL want these Cowboys to be good? So I'm sure they'll be excited on all those talking head shows that I don't watch, but I do see the clips on Twitter. So it's not like I don't know what's going on. But there you have it from us. Guys, just a note on the scheduling change for the Monday show. We're now going to be before the Showdown show, which starts at 3 p.m. Eastern. But we noticed you guys are already in Showdown mode by the time we get started. So we want to recap before they give you all the Showdown winners. So we're going to be on at 2 p.m. Eastern for Talking Touchdowns from now on Monday. And that will lead you into the Showdown. It's a real fun show that we do. It's the only time where we, instead of just giving opinions, we actually get to review and talk smack. Of course, I got to do that a little bit with the Broncos at the beginning of the show. But it's a full 45 minutes of victory laps, of tilting, and of hot takes, and we love doing it. We're getting a great response. We'd love for you guys to join us, be a part of the chat, and then, of course, make these shows even better. Reminder, this is brought to you by RunPureSports.com. If you're not a member, head on over there. Check out all the great things that Run Pure Sports has to offer, including the brand new NFL playbook, which has been quite the success. Tyler, anything before we get out of here?
Nope. I mean, you touched on everything. Told them send them to the playbook. We'll upload the props as they generate on these sites throughout the weekend. So just keep an eye on that.
Kurt, I'm looking forward to cashing another winner with you this weekend. Any words of wisdom before we sign off?
Peep that playbook, man. I've been like digging into it. I love Tyler got me on to betting. You guys both did. Like I wasn't really betting anything, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm up. I have Roto Tracker for DFS, but I don't have it for like Sportsbook. But I know I'm up because I've been making money more off that than DFS NFL. So read that, kind of develop your own opinion. That's what we're all about here. Like we put it out for you. You kind of develop your own opinion. That's the recipe for success every time I'll say it. So check that out. I know it's been helping me a lot. And, don't be afraid to hit those the EuroLeague streets. It's been one or two.
I'm going to have to start doing that, Kurt. I didn't even know what I was listening to at first. I was like, is he watching soccer? But then they're scoring too often.
So get this. We've had 2 slates so far.
Okay.
We've had 2 slates.
Mm-hmm.
I won today, and yesterday our boy A-Shets won. So 2 RPS binks, 2 slates, 2 for 2. Why are you not playing? You're doing lunchtime. There's nothing you can do. I would do a full playbook for it. Come check out the EuroLeague streets. Don't be afraid.
All right. Yeah, we're both giving you guys playbooks for the members of RunPureSports.com. If you're only betting $5 a game or just hanging out in the chat, but you still want to help out and thank us for trying to give you all this information, all we ask for is the thumbs up and the subscription. We understand not everybody can afford to become a member. And hey, like if you're only betting $5 a game, right? Just watch the show and grab a couple winners there. But if you're betting $50, $100, that's going to be less than, it's going to be like 1 unit per month to get all these great winners. What are we up so far already this week, Tyler? What'd you say?
13?
Plus 13 units already this week?
Yeah, this month, we're up 13 units through the first week of October. 113 on the year.
And we're no longer just giving the picks. We're also giving you the strategies and the way that we're building these things. And, like if you're in the Discord and you look and you go, well, why do you the Vikings projected for 29? Hit me and Tyler up on the Discord. We'll tell you how we got to that number. Some of it is through industry projections. Some of it's through DVOA. I mean, we're using all types of statistics to come through, but I'll give you an idea of why we might be higher or lower. And sometimes we manually adjust them, right, Tyler? Because we say, hey, this isn't just math. And we look and we say, no, they're not going to score that many points, or they're not, whatever. So we do have a process, and we'd love to let all the members know how we're coming to these things. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Reminder, a little earlier for Talking Touchdowns. And also next week, NBA previews begin. We're going to be doing them on Tuesday and Wednesday. Of course, I'll set those up and let you guys know so you can hang out. We'll be previewing the Eastern Conference and then the Western Conference next Tuesday and Wednesday. And, Tyler, our most popular show, the NBA Rundown, returns the Tuesday after that for opening night. And by that time, we'll find out whether or not Draymond Green will be in the lineup. We'll give you that information then. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and run pure.